Now then, do you remember this from a recent Dead Men's Shed video? I just thought it might be interesting just to see whether that armature is any good for this. I don't know. I know that the chuck here will need quite a lot of soaking, but what's wrong with taking it apart? Nothing at all. And just as a cross reference on that, 2 or 3 years ago maybe, I re-batteried this. This is a drill that came from Owen, but it had, I think it had NiCad batteries in it, which course about as much use as a poke in the eye with a pointed stick. But I got hold of one of these battery packs with dead cells in it. Anyway, there we go. Still working, which is wonderful, isn't it? Which way does that come on part? I can't remember now. There we go. Done it. Right, so let's have a go at undoing these, and that way we can either abandon this as a complete waste of time, yeah, or do something with it. At least the screws are coming undone, and they're not totally full of muck. Actually, I'm looking at that other armature and I'm not sure about it. I think the armature's fine. I think maybe the gear on the end of it is faulty. We'll have to dig into that and have a look. Right, are these screws all the same size? It would be nice if they were, wouldn't it just? And even the ones on that end are the same size. That's wonderful. So let's see, how do we get this apart? Small screwdriver. Yep. Okay, off we go. There we go. Put those 2 screws out. So I lost a bit of footage, so we'll redo that. We've just taken the cover off this and we're investigating here. Now there's 2 screws there and 2 little screws there that hold this brush block in, and then there's 2 screws there. That one was tight, really tight, so I had to put the screwdriver there and belt it several times with a hammer just to sort of shock it off. One of the other interesting bits was looking at the armature. So we'll just zoom the camera down. So the commutator doesn't look too bad, and if you remember from the Dead Men's Shed video, this was arcing like mad, like burning mad, so I thought the armature was faulty. And I'm looking here, looking for a blue coil which denotes that it's burnt out, but there doesn't seem to be any. So the next thing to do, once we've got all this out, what do we get? No, that seems alright. Once we've got all this, let me zoom out, get this lot out of the body, yeah, and we'll investigate the brushes and the back bearing, etc, etc. Right, let's get back to the original footage. Right, bit of a tap and it's come out, so maybe the whole lot has to come out. Whilst we're here, see this gear here? Yeah, and the other one is definitely worn right out. So on this spare armature, I was hoping it was some good, but if you really look down there, well, you can see that that gear is totally worn out and doesn't engage hardly at all. In fact, just there you can see the original teeth. So let's just pull this out. Let me zoom out. Let's just pull this out and remove that, and the feather. What that's doing there, I don't know. And then, where are we? There we are. I see. You see, it's totally worn out. So this armature's scrap, even though the rest of it might be good. And where are we? That gear there, you'd have to inspect it quite finely, because you wouldn't want to put a good small gear like that on an armature on a gear that's been working with a worn out teeth. Yeah, so you know there might be damage on that one as well. So we'll just have to make the best we can. Okay, well the blue one goes that side, the black one goes that side. Okay, that will want greasing up. Right, yeah, we've got a worn out brush. Oh, perhaps not. We've got a damaged spring. That spring is duff. Ah, that doesn't help. So we have a problem with that brush. Okay, now unfortunately there isn't a brush in that other assembly. I'm just looking at this here, thinking that will need a dab of grease or something, oil, before that goes back together. Yeah, so we got a duff brush. Now I wonder whether this whole brush assembly just comes as one. Yeah. There's a little pin there. holds that end cap on. There's the spring. Right. Okay. Let me just zoom down on this then, if we can. So, the brush, that spring, this pigtail would go up the middle of the spring and be spot welded to there. Yep. And then this goes over the end. Right. I wonder. Let me dig around and see if I can find my box of miscellaneous drill brushes. Right. What have we got in here? All sorts of stuff. Of course, one of the benefits of keeping carbon brushes like that is you can file them down. I am suspecting that this Bosch brush, that looks like off a DC motor of some form, an industrial one. I wonder if that, I wonder. It looks the same size. Might be able to do something with that. Not that, and not that. But you see there, that's what I mean about the pigtail being spot welded onto that disc. But that pigtail's too long. I think they are out of washing machines. I'd say almost definitely. And there's some big carbon brushes. I don't know. Spare brushes for something. It's a bit wider and a bit narrower. We're really getting to the bottom of the pile here. I've probably not been near this for quite a few years. Well, not to the bottom. Okay, doesn't look like it. I wonder if we can do something with this. Let's put all this lot back in this worn out Vitalite container, and I'll get back to you. Okay, let's have a look at this. How does this come apart? Oh, there we go. Well, but there's hardly any brush. It's virtually worn out. So you could have maybe done something, but not with that one. Anyway, it's blowing a gale outside. It's that storm, whatever it is. I keep making up names for these things. So, if we put that through there, do you think we could solder that onto there. Do you know what? I think we could. It might be a bit fiddly, but let's give it a go. I need to clean that up first. Yep. I need to clean that up first. Yep. Put a blob of solder on there and then solder that pigtail to it. And let's just see if that works. Right. Whilst the soldering iron's heating up, this bearing, quite interesting. It's not a Bosch, it's a needle roller. Very interesting. So I've cleaned the outside up a bit and we'll just put a little dab of grease in there. Yep. And then put it back in place. There we go. Good. And this housing here will go over the top of that and clamp it in place. So that's grand. I could maybe just put a little spot of oil on that just to stop it corroding anymore. I'm wondering if we're going to get this sorted. I want a soldering iron that's really good and hot. So I think we can put these. Where did I put that other screw? It's here somewhere. There it is. I think we can put these screws back in place. So we'll need to put that on there, and I want to soak that first. I think soaking it and a bit of a battering. Oh no, let's put it let's put it back together. For the moment, we can always have it apart again if we so choose. Screwdriver, flat bladed screwdriver. Okay. There we go. That's better. Right. Yep. Before we put the other half of the clamshell on, I'll want to put quite a bit of grease in there. So we got the, let's zoom out. Okay, and come round. Okay. This big soldering iron is very handy. Had it for years. Where's it gone? Where's the disc gone? There we go. So Where are we? Let's just put a little bit of solder on there. Now we've got to keep that spring fiddly. I don't know whether I can do this and video it at the same time. Nope. Right. It's fiddly. I'll be back to you in a minute. Okay. Pop that in there. There. I think we need a spacer in there. To push that down a bit to there. That might be alright. What could we put in there as a spacer? A little nut maybe or something. Let's try it anyway first. Yep. Okay, that's been greased. Yep. And this then goes there. Okay, then we got the small screws, which is just fallen. Come on, behave. That's one small screw. I'm not sure where the other one's gone. It won't have gone far. Right, but that one goes in there and that one goes in there. That goes in there. That one goes in there. This one goes on there. This one, I can't quite see, goes on there. Small screwdriver for that small screw. Okay, I did put a spacer in there to push that brush a bit harder. It is plugged in. Everything is tight. I am aware that we've got mains there. Yeah. Okay, so I think now what we need to do is pop some grease in there and just put a little bit of oil over there and put the rest of the clamshell back together. They're not sparking badly, are they? I think it wants that other half to hold it together properly. Right, I'll be back to you shortly. Okay, that oil there will just work its way round and just stop that rust. The wires are put back in its clips. It is unplugged and everything looks about right. Loads of grease around there. A bit more in here. Okay, and it fits very nicely. Goes back on there. Quite a dream. So we'll put these back in here. And they're all the same length, which is the sign of a nice machine, isn't it? So I'm going to tighten all those up. Back with you in a moment. Right, there we go, screwed back together. And the forward and reverse works. Perfect. And the hammer function works. Yeah, that selects. So all we got to do now is soak that in diesel. Stand it like that. Pour diesel down there. Soak it for a fortnight or something like that. Maybe warm it up a little bit and it'll come apart. So that's a good one. This one, maybe I need to keep that bit there just in case I have a problem with that chuck. But the armature and the motor are effectively scrap. Right, comments, discussion. How much of this stuff do you keep? It's a secondary drill anyway, because I've got another one, or I've got another two, but it feels very smooth. It's probably reasonably powerful. Right, catch up with you soon. Cheers.